I'm Paloma Adams-Allen. I'm President and CEO of Airlink, which some of you may have heard of, others may have not. We are a very cool little nonprofit organization that connects humanitarian aid organizations with the aviation sector to get crucially needed life-saving aid to people in need around the world, quickly, cost-effectively, and efficiently. And we do so with great partners like United.
Thanks, Paloma. I'm BJ Youngerman with United Airlines. We probably heard of us. We fly a lot of places all over the world. And we're really focused on disaster relief as one of our core impact areas, and thrilled to work with great partners like Paloma and the Airlink team.
So our story actually begins, ours in Airlink and ours as in this partnership, actually begins in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Some of you all may remember there was a massive earthquake that destroyed much of that city in January 2010, over 300,000 people killed. And it obviously made it impossible to get to people, but to get aid into the country. At that time, Airlink was an idea coming out of the aviation sector. And it was, what if we used excess capacity on flights that are flying empty or half empty to move humanitarian aid and to bring relief workers and emergency responders to places in need post-disasters or during a crisis to support the humanitarian sector and to make sure that aviation is doing good. And so Haiti tested that model along with United. The small Airlink team at that time built a massive air bridge and got in 500,000 pounds of aid supplies into Port-au-Prince, and crucially 2,000 health workers, doctors, and nurses to support people who were suffering as a result of the earthquake. So that was the start. Airlink started in the rubble of the earthquake in Port-au-Prince, and this partnership started in the rubble.
Yep. And from a United side, part of the reason, and that's part of when our focus on disaster relief started, and part of why we think about that as an area where we should participate. We have planes all over the globe at all times of the day and throughout the year. And with disaster, you have to be able to respond very quickly, right? And so being able to use our assets and the fact that we can move people as well as cargo really quickly is something that we feel like we're uniquely positioned to do. And by working both with great partners like Airlink and other nonprofit partners, but also with other corporations to think about how we can bring the different resources that we have together to drive greater impact. It's something that we're continuing to build and look forward to continuing to talk about over the rest of today as well.
Our impact together has actually been profound. Looking at the numbers, we have helped 23 million people in some of their worst days through this partnership alone.
Great.
Thank you. So that's moving 5,000 emergency responders and relief workers. I mean, that's just incredible. It's truly remarkable. And I think one of the reasons that we've been able to do that is because we have designed a partnership framework that is flexible enough and is robust enough for us to respond as needed. One of the things we found in some of our own research and polling the airlines we work with about 50 airline partners, United being our most impactful partner in many ways, and 250 humanitarian organizations. But polling the airlines, over 80% would be willing and want to do something to support humanitarian causes or to respond to disasters. But less than a third of them have a framework in place, right, to really help them do so. Yeah. And so we give a lot of credit to the thought that you all have put in and the 16 years we've spent together building this partnership.
Yep. And I would just give a more specific example, kind of in action, of how the pre-planning has really paid off for us collectively. Thinking about Hawaii, the Maui wildfires from a few years ago, obviously really devastating for the island and huge impact that needed to be addressed really quickly. We immediately are sort of working to get relief workers and supplies to the islands, but also we took a bit of a different approach in thinking about the long-term recovery and how we could participate in that, because the reality of disaster relief work is, it's front and center for everybody for a few days, and that's when the media's got it in the headlines, but the rebuilding process takes years. And if you're not kind of thinking about how you can build that into your strategy, it's easy to sort of just get caught in, okay, well, we're responding to this and then we're on to the next thing. And so one of the things that in Maui we were able to do, participate in rebuilding one of the local boys and girls clubs, which was huge for the community. It's huge for our employees as well, right? We've got over 1,000 United employees who are on the Hawaiian Islands, and they're members of these communities, right? And that's true of kind of any of the places that we go in and support disasters. But we also are really thoughtful about how we can engage our customers and how we can use our customer audience to promote the work of our partners like Airlink. And we have a great program called Miles on a Mission that allows our customers to donate their miles to assist in the transport process. And for Maui specifically, we had 55 million miles donated across our customer base, and something that really kind of creates a unique engagement touch point with them and creates great brand awareness for partners so that they can learn about the work that folks like Airlink are doing.
Truly, I would also add, from Airlink's perspective, this Maui response, but broadly the partnership, is really impactful for a couple of reasons. One is you all provided pre-committed resources, so we knew what we had to work with, right? We knew how much capacity on airlines we had, we knew how many passengers we would be able to move, whether it's in Maui or anywhere else. In this case in particular, you all, as you noted, mobilized, not only wrote a check, not only made sure that we had the resources we need, but mobilized your customer base and encouraged them to support us. And so those miles were essential. And I would say the third piece that is really important, you touched on this earlier, it's the commitment to the post-immediate disaster support. And in this case, you all helped us set up a resilience fund, and you also committed to working on convenings that were about making sure the nonprofits supporting the people in the affected communities and the community leaders were able to collaborate, right,
yes,
to make sure that that response was supported long beyond the immediate impacts.
Yeah, and I'll just add the pre-structuring piece of this, I think, is really crucial to our relationship, but also for you all thinking about the relationships that you have, both from the corporate side and from the nonprofit side. I think it's pre-planning allows you to tell a different, you're more ready when the phone call happens with disasters. Right? Disasters happen really quickly, you need to act, and if you have a structure that's already in place to allow you to move more quickly, that's really good. But the other thing I think that's really important about it is it helps as you talk about the impact of what you're doing and being able to think about, well, what are we actually trying to work towards, and what's the storytelling and sort of the other engagement touch points that we're going to have around it. If you can set that up in advance and have good alignment on that with a partner, that's going to set them up to be able to be a good partner and bring some of the things to the table that we're looking for on the corporate side. And it allows, from the corporate side, us to be able to tell that story internally to our internal stakeholders. Those of you in the room who work at big companies, you know that that's a big part of what you have to do. And as you're talking about the impact of the work, being able to have that aligned on in advance sets you up in a much better position to be able to talk about the work with different stakeholders.
Truly. I mean, I would leave for this group, I know we're at time, one of the profound things, learnings that we've had and realizations is that we have the best partnerships with the companies and the airlines and others who see investment in humanitarian causes and working with Airlink as a core part of their business, right? Responding to humanitarian disasters means stability in communities, it means stability in markets, it means your workforce, depending on where things happen, are able to come to work. So it's not just a nice thing to do, it's a really crucial core part of the business. And that has given us the stability and the predictability and the closeness that we've needed to problem solve together. So it's been a fantastic collaboration.
Completely agree. And I'll leave one other thought for you all, and that's just as we think about this work and kind of how it's brought together, and this is applicable to other areas as well. I think sometimes you can think, if you're working with a corporation, it's like there's a finite pool of resources and you have to compete against other nonprofits in order to get those dollars, right? And yes, budgets are what they are, and they're not, there's a certain amount of allocated capital to go around, but what we found is being able to bring partners together and build on itself, it has a multiplying effect, right? And so if you can find ways to say A, B, C, and D together are far greater than the sum of doing them individually, we found that's really impactful. And so I'd encourage everyone in the room to kind of think about that in terms of you all have a unique value proposition, something that you do that's perhaps a little different than what others do. But instead of thinking about it in a way that's like, well, I have to say why my thing is better, right? And I need to sort of stand out amongst the crowd. How do you think about how it plays into the broader ecosystem? And I think that's something in the disaster space especially that we've just found there's a lot of opportunity to continue to do that and to have great partnerships that are built along the way.
100%. Collaboration over competition, anytime.
It's a good place to end. So, thanks everybody.
Thanks.